You are listening to Independent TV 7. The headline of today's news says, Tinubu Run, please run. What could have prompted Aunt Delina to declare in the Feast of Goats that, well, that's what politics is. You make your way over corpses. After seeing what politics and politicians do with us in Nigeria, should I have asked that question in the first instance? Optimists that Nigerian politicians they have started a race ahead of God to the year 2023, and they do not appear to mind stepping on the blood and the corpses of their brothers into that office they covet so badly. While at it, they are most times unmindful of how the people feel about their sprinting ahead of the Creator. Not even the perishability of their own selves do they give consideration. Being humans, can any sprinter be sure they will see the self-name, or they will see 2023 years to come? This time around, however, they seem to be ushering the 2023 permutations and projection. So when last week a group of loyalists of former governor of Lagos State and one of the leaders of All Progressive Congress APC, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, stormed the ancient city of Ibadan and Oyo in Oyo State to canvass his 2023 presidency, the picture queue that was hitherto operating and at the realm of conjecture about a kingmaker who wants to transform and to become a king began to take a life of its own. A very instructive statement from leader of the group, Dayo Adeyeye, a former federal lawmaker, ex-aide, ex-PDP, currently in APC, brought home the racing of the team named Southwest Agenda Swagger 2023. While explaining what Saga Agenda really meant, Adeyeye said it was to champion a common front for the Yoruba race. It must be borne in mind that Tinubu has not publicly told anyone he is interested in the presidency. However, he has embarked on some gallivanting of recent to the north, which some leaders of Nigeria's political barometer labeled political moves ahead of 2023. Counter poison. This is also an alleged attempt by the feudal north, desirous of eating its cake and having it, to bring back former Nigerian President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan into the presidential contest so as to speed up the North's return to power. There is always a tomorrow, and when that tomorrow comes, the pounded yam of 20 years ago will burn the finger of the sinner. Adeyeye's Swagger 23 reminds me of a sad occurrence that took place around 1969 in Ila Orogun, an ancient town in present-day Osun State. It happened during the Agbekoya tax revolt in the western region. The General Adeyinka Adebayo government's increment of tax in the region had engendered the peasant revolt, shouting, Okemefa Laoson, we are only paying 30 shillings. The peasants marched from one village to another in the whole of the region, killing and destroying anything that had the imprimatur of government, from courthouses to government buildings. In September 1969, they broke prison, especially the Ibadan Agodi prisons, and set free thousands of prisoners, chanting that they would only pay 1.10 tax. They inflicted mayhem on the street and made government ungovernable for General Adebayo. He took the avatar himself, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, to quench the fire by walking into the forest on foot to negotiate with Tafa Adeoye, leader of the revolt. He was the only one the peasants trusted. As an aside, let us note some historical trajectories in the above. First, did you notice some similarities in government concern that Agbekoya revolt kingpins chose to unleash their mayhem on, and that they bear some similarities with the target of the recent NSAS protests? Did you notice that Awolowo, who just left the Calabar prison during this time, was trusted by the Agbekoyas? The son of Ogbomosho, Oba Olajide Adeoye, was killed right inside his palace, while the mayhem laws set the palace ablaze. Oba Adeoye's body was disembalmed by rioters and terrorists. Then came 1978 to 1979 and the return of party politics, the MPN group loyal to those who handed over Oba Ayeni out of the palace. If Adeyeye does not know, he should ask and dip Yoruba sons or daughter to tell him the potency of payback politics of the people. Yoruba do not forget, they also very rarely forgive, as mounted is a common front for the Yoruba race. Probably had forgotten a woman named Mulikat Akande Adeola. This Ogbomoso-born woman was a member of the House of Representatives and was highly favored. What this story is all about is talking about we should go back and reform and remember those old days, but people are really craving for power. The Ilarogun antecedent history is also there. On Wednesday, 27 January 1999, 23 leaders of Afenifere Alliance for Democracy converged to protest for an election and to campaign for an election. In dissecting which of the Yoruba leaders voted or didn't vote for, resulting in chaos, the author conducted a very diligent investigation. The author submits on page 235 that Tinubu has a prudent fancy for ideology but a fierce commitment to power. Power here is uniform for the end that justifies the means of that deadly French theorist Niccolo Machiavelli. Indeed, for him, whatever works, works. Beside the present focus of the Yoruba is how to stop Nigeria from further wrecking their lives. They call it restructuring. It is not the same as the presidency of Nigeria. The Yoruba are aware that as it is presently constituted, Nigeria is an empty and spent shell derived from the outward by its demographics. In 2015, when Buhari contested for the Nigerian presidency, the North obsessively campaigned for him, believing that with him in the saddle, there will be a change, and now it's getting worsening, and not knowing that it will worsen their destiny. As it is now, apart from a northerner whose idea has widened through awards or contracts and unmerited dues and positions and allocations that are not executed. In the last 5 years and half years ago, it will seem that Satan and his cohort had effectively relocated the North and made it their empire. Today, terrorism and violence have torn the North apart. Emir palaces, Itato, sacred groves are targeted on bandits and jihadists. Northern Lord politicians hardly live within the space of their places of birth. They run helter-skelter. As said above, the rest part of Nigeria also became recipients of this wonky decision to make Buhari president ungovernable. There is humorous and dare say unprecedented influence of the terrorists, spoiling and savaging and sabotaging the idea and governance of Buhari. For the southwest, borrowing from that ancient Yoruba pun, the Eku deity, the rat that is bigger and bigger of the cross and bigger than the government, I think Tinubu should not take a plunge into the potential destructive backlash waters of Nigerian presidency contest. He should back off, because the race in which he's trying to go into is deadly. All the above notwithstanding, however, if you ask me, I am sure as the sun will rise that Tinubu will run from the presidency rather than run for the presidency. The Jagaban is too smart, too streetwise to bite the bullet that campaigning for the presidency would be for him. I think the party they are creating and all the swag about contesting for the 2023 election are basically more of an attempt to keep the master relevant in the power calculus post 2023 than for him to run for any presidential race. The picture is clear. You are listening to Independent TV 7. I would like you to share your comment and share your views over this article. What do you think about Tinubu? No doubt, however, Barrister approximated and appropriately the absence of Omoruwa in an awesome way of his flourishing and died greater than Omoruwa. This article and what I said now is prior and like an idiom, like an advice to Tinubu. Tinubu shouldn't go further. He gathered so many momentum in 2015 to put Buhari in place, but now see what Nigeria is facing, and people wouldn't want to venture to vote for such people because campaigning for them is like playing a deadly game. Everybody now has the eyes at the back and front, left and right. They know what is good and what is not right in Nigeria. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel at Independent TV 7. Don't forget to send and share this news so that others can be aware. Thank you for listening.